So, I think we finally touched on all the controls, the quirky bits about them. Our rocket is landed. So, now it's time to actually, gosh darn it, start building stuff. So one of the first things we're going to build is something to harvest this concrete. And anything you build needs to have power as well. So let's start with the concrete. So that would be the production screen here, and it's the first one here is a concrete extractor. So when you go to place the building, it will kind of change colors. If it's red, that means it's not close enough to the thing it needs to be on, and then you see it kind of turned yellow there, and the message no cable connection just means it doesn't have power, which we know, so we'll have to connect power. That hex around it, that's the dust area, so all of these things produce dust, so you don't want to build anything else close to it if you can help it. So we are going to put this, let's put it, almost doesn't matter, we're going to get the dome over here probably, so let's build it at least sort of in that general direction, so we'll put it here. Actually, let's put it here. So the drones will start building that. Oh, I forgot, we have resources on the rocket that we need to unload, so we need depots to hold different resources. So we're going to build a universal depot, which is kind of 3 hexes. We're going to build it right next to the rocket. That's so the drones can get those advanced resources you see at the bottom there off of the rocket and into the depot. We're going to build two concrete depots near the concrete extractor. I usually like to build 2 right away, so I don't have to worry about it getting filled up for a while. So these are 2 concrete depots. We do those kind of pretty close to it. And then we need a place to put the waste rock. So that's going to be this large dumping site. And we can get this pillar out of the way eventually with some landscaping. And usually you don't want to do the waste rock like right next to it. I usually do it one away so that the drones can still move around it. So now let's get this powered. So we want to put down a power generator outside of this. So we'll put the power generator kind of right about here, we'll say. And that's going to be in the power menu, and it's a Stirling generator. We have 7 to start, and that's just 1 hex. So we're going to build it there. I always like to double check just to make sure it's outside of the hex, and it is. And then we need to connect it with power cables, which are this one here. And this is just like drawing a line between what the thing that produces the power and what you want powered. So now our drones, once we start moving time again, we'll start building those. The other thing we want to do is fuel. So for that we need water. We don't have a water node, so we're going to have to use one of these moisture evaporators, which pulls water out of the air. And for this building, and I glossed over it, but you can change the direction of it using the bumpers. So that just spins it around. This one you see has these little pipe icons, because anything that's water or oxygen, in addition to power, you also need pipes. For the moisture evaporator, that area around it, that's not dust in this case. It's the area it's pulling water from. So you don't want 2 moisture evaporators next to each other, because they'll be less effective. So that's just showing you how much distance you should put between another one. So we're going to just put this over, let's put it about here. And that's still, yeah, it's definitely inside of that. And then let's make power for that real quick. So connect the generator to that. And then we'll do the pipes, because we need to connect this to the fuel refinery. Pipes are in the life support. So we're just going to build a little section of pipe. Oop, don't want to do that. You can exit out if you don't like what's in it. So we have to start here. I'm just going to build a section of pipe that goes down to about here. And then we're going to do the fuel refinery. So that's in production. That one has the little pipe icons too. So we're going to make sure it's crossing with this pipe. Put that here. Yeah, okay, it's outside the dust for the rocket too. Check that. And then the other thing you can do is you can actually build power cables right under the pipes. So that's generally what you want to do. So now we have that to bring the power from there to the refinery. Now the other thing we can do is we can build something to hold extra water. To do that to start, that's a water tank. That's here, a water tower. So we're going to put the water tower down here, also with the pipe icon connecting the pipe. And we'll just go ahead and put it right next to the moisture evaporator. And then we need a couple fuel depots to hold the fuel. I'm actually going to put that near the rocket because eventually it needs to go on the rocket. We may not land in the next rocket here. We may pick a different place, but for now, we'll put it there. Alright, so that's the basic buildings for the base. We're going to start producing concrete right away, water and fuel to fuel the rocket. So let's get time started, and I'm going to do it really quickly so we can see the drones doing their thing. So the drones came out of the commander, and they're going off and they're actually collecting the metal in these deposits, because the pipes and the power cables need metal. Some of the things are prefabs, so I'll be flying around and building stuff. Now I'm going to pause the game here because we've got our first little icon. We scan another sector. So this is the power producer. We got a little warning message because it's there, but it's not connected to anything that uses power. The other thing for the Stirling generators is they make more power if you open them. So now that we're clicked on it, it's that right trigger, D-pad here to open, close. We're going to choose to open it, and we'll start the time again. So now it's going to open up. This lets it produce more power. It also makes it more susceptible to dust and that kind of thing. So if we get a dust storm or something, we may want to close all of them. Now it's building the tank. Speed it up. Alright, the tank's not connected to anything that produces water yet because it's still building that. Now we've built the moisture evaporator.
Anomaly analyzed. Milestone achieved.
And we got another milestone. Let me pause it. A couple things popped up. So the Explorer scanned that anomaly, so we need to send it to another one to scan. And I'm going to send it over to this research one so that we get that burst of research. So now it's going to go over and do that. We got another milestone, right? That's scan an anomaly. There you go. And so the anomaly, this is the results of the anomaly, and it said new techs are available. So if you
There's
click that,
more to the barren environs of the red planet than meets the eye.
a little message, you don't need to read the whole thing, but the effects tell you
knowledge and wonder.
what it is that you got.
So long as
we now can research these new technologies, so they've been added to the tree. And I'm actually going to replace, we're going to get rid of the one for the colonists for the moment. And we're going to get rid of the decommission protocol because we're not going to need to destroy any buildings. I'm actually going to choose this one because this makes the rocket need less fuel, and I'm going to move it up to the number 2 spot. And this is the transports go faster and can hold more. We don't have a transport yet, but we're going to get one pretty soon, so I'm going to just put that in the number 3 spot. So you're probably going to make different decisions anytime new research becomes available. And then sector scanned, just left, oop, I can't get it out there, I wasn't back down there. Left bumper, yeah, you know, sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know why, it might be we have to start time again. Yeah, that left bumper is temporarily broken, that happens sometimes, I haven't figured out why. Well, we'll dismiss that later. It'll probably go away on its own, too. Alright, so we've got time to get a little bit.
Research complete. Milestone achieved.
Alright, another one, so let's pause. Yeah, that's kind of annoying that the bumper thing isn't coming up. Well, we'll just ignore that for a while. So let's start thinking about, as that's doing its thing, I'll do normal speed. We can start thinking about the dome going here. And the other thing we can start to do now is landscaping, because we have things we need to get out of the way so we can build stuff. So let's start by getting rid of this thing right here. And the landscaping menu is, if you hit Y, it's one of the last ones, so it's this one. So the different landscaping is we can flatten things, we can build a ramp, we can change the surface, just what it looks like, and we can build rock formations, which I've never really done. I don't know why you would. I guess, you know, it uses waste rock. It's one way to use waste rock and get it more contained. But we're going to flatten, and you can change the size of the area you want to flatten here, but we'll start by getting rid of this kind of rock pillar thing here. So you move it where you want to start. It must be flat. It'll tell you if it doesn't like your starting point. It says not flat. So we're going to start in this flat area. We're going to move over here, and it can't intersect with something else like a building. So we're going to go with that. So now the drones are going to remove this, which is going to create waste rock, and flatten this area, which is going to take a little time. So let's speed that up a little bit, just to see what that looks like. I'm also going to build, slow down a little bit, I'm also going to build a metal resource deposit. So the drones have a place to take all this metal that's just lying about nearby. So we're going to put that kind of
Anomaly found.
here in the Universal Depot. So now there's plenty of room for them to do that. So let's fast forward a little bit. So you get a bar. Depending on how big the area is you're landscaping, it could take quite a while to complete. Let's see if our left bumper thing works now. Yes, okay, so that's back to working. I don't know why it wasn't working before.
Research complete.
Ooh, and we got more stuff. So let's do a pause here to get some of these. All right, so we got another anomaly analyzed. So let's do the right bumper and go to wherever our explorer is. Yeah, it's relatively close. Zoom out and choose the next thing for it to scan. Let's go with this one. So we'll send it over here. And let's check our scan queue here. We've got a couple spots opened up, so let's just add to the queue to get it up to 9 again. It'll give you a message if you've scanned all of them. You need to choose more. Okay, and we've researched a couple more things, so now we need less fuel. What's the new things that we can do? Drones and rovers move faster. That's going to be a good one, so let's move that over and prioritize it up. And building apartments would be nice to have before we do our dome, because they can hold more colonists. So we're going to choose that, but I'm not going to make it a hugely high priority right now. All right, so transportation problems. So that just means that there's a lot more work needed to be done than your drones can currently handle. So I think what we'll do now is we'll build a drone hub. So that's the building that also controls drones, but it stays in one place. And we chose that in Inventors, and it doesn't need power, so we can kind of place it almost anywhere, and it won't need power. Let's put it kind of somewhere. We're going to sort of build in this direction, we still think. Let's look at the map, actually, real quick. Yeah, nothing has popped up that would make us change our mind about putting our dome over here. So let's put our drone hub somewhere toward that general direction, but is also close enough to do all of this work that we got going on over here. So let's put it here. And that big area around, that's the range of the drones controlled by that drone hub. And I'll speed it up so the drones build that a little quicker. You can change the priority too if you want it to be built faster. So that's that thing with the arrows. So if you do right trigger and choose this, it will be prioritized and just built faster, usually. Seems to be taking them a while. Is our commander close enough, maybe? Ah, that's why. All right, so let me pause and explain that. So the commander that's controlling the drones, this is a little bit outside the reach, so that's why they weren't building it. It's just not close enough. So it's
Sector scanned.
and now they should build it right away. again. So some of the things that popped up disappeared. You can just kind of dismiss this. Sometimes if you have access to new drones, you can do those. And this is just another sector state. Dismiss that. Okay, let's see how our landscaping is doing. And it's only about 25% of the way, so it's going to take a little while. So we're going to have to clear away this. So any landscaping produces that waste rock, unless it's something that's getting filled in. Like if it's a crater, like see this great big crater here, that would need to get filled in with waste rock. So that's the case where it would use waste rock. Same with that, that's more of a crater. Oh, we have another anomaly was analyzed, so our explorer is free again. Let's have them go. Let's do this one. The ones with the eyeballs are usually kind of a good thing, but could sometimes be a thing you have to make a decision about. So it may give us a choice about something. So let's go look at that first. Okay. Can be a sign of a lot of speeding up and waiting for things to happen. Let's dismiss these two things. Speed up again. Alright, so the drones, as they're doing the landscaping, they had this area to put the waste rock, so they're doing it there. If that wasn't there, they'd be just kind of piling it up randomly around this area. Oh, and we got something that is where attention is required. It's flashing. So let's look at what that's that. The Great Leap. And that you can't dismiss, you have to activate it. Okay, so this is something where we have a choice. Our scientists made a daunting discovery, blah blah blah. Usually you can just go right to the effect. A new advanced technology has been revealed in the chosen field. The new technology costs less to research, so then we have a choice of which research branch we want to do. I am going to go ahead and choose engineering. So let's see what we got. We have to go look at the research tree now. So it was engineering and it was advanced, so that means it's probably something way down here that we... here we go. So this is the one we just got. So this is just a more advanced engineering tech, and it's out of dome buildings require maintenance less often. Oh, that'd be nice. Not a name rush though. And G drive was researched. We got 2 new spots. Although we may choose that if there's nothing else more interesting. Let's go with more applicants. So if we get that researched before we actually choose our colonists, we'll have a really good choice. And what's this one? Cargo space increased. We'll go with the cargo space. Okay, and dismiss that. And speed up again. And alright, so this is about to be finished. Okay, so that was our first landscaping, so now this area is flat and matches everything else. Let's do another landscaping area out towards where this dome is going to go. So we can do let's do as large of an area as we can. So this is this, and right bumper to make it the largest size. At least some portion of the starting point needs to be near enough to the drone hub. So we're going to do, let's do it here, draw out as far, so you'll see the little blue, those are areas where rocks will be, waste rock will be taken away. And we'll go until it says too large. Okay, so now it's too large, so let's go here. So this won't be a proof, you can see how much here, right, this is going to produce 71 waste rock. But it also says it needs 2, that must mean there's a low area where it needs to put rock to also make it flat. Alright, and we'll speed up. So we're really just kind of building up our supply of concrete. You can see that's starting to show up. Okay, now see how our rocket is flashing, so let's pause. So that means that it's been refueled and it's ready to take off again. So we'll go ahead and do that right away, because the sooner we get that back to Earth, the sooner we can bring more stuff. So that's right, and it's this selection here, activate to launch it back. Before we do this, rover, you see how it's kind of in the dust area? So I'm going to move that out just to make sure it doesn't get dusted up too much.
Sector scanned.
And that's enough outside. And the depots don't matter. Okay, so let's go ahead and load it. Okay, so startup time again. And it's going to close up and take off. We'll get another
complete.
milestone.
Milestone achieved.
There we go. I'll leave it on regular play. So that's our milestone. Launch a rocket from Mars. And we got another research thing. Let's add another one. That helps with power production with your wind turbines. That's the fungal farms, something that produces full food, but I use regular farms usually, so maybe we should try to pluck away at this. It takes a lot of research. It's going to take a lot longer earlier on, but because it's a more advanced one, it'll be a bigger benefit too. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the queue. We may end up replacing it. And we'll speed up time again.
Anomaly found.
Alright, so this is one of those anomalies where we probably have a choice about something. That's why it's red and flashing. So left bumper,
Though
activate.
initially fruitless, we recalibrated the operating spectrum for our scans.
So this is the effect when we found a large water deposit. So that is, we found a water deposit. I don't think we had found one yet, right? So we finally found that. That means we should have gotten that milestone too. Did we get that? Find water on Mars. There you go. Maybe we'd already found one. And I just missed it. Oh, looks like we did. Yeah, we had already found a couple. I forgot about that. Alright, but now our explorer's free to scan something else. Let's just pick these because they're the closest. Okay, and we can dismiss that. Alright, speed up again. Get a fair amount of concrete, so you can see that up here too, in that, right? So we have 45 concrete now, and we have, now that we have a power grid, we have information about the power grid.
Sector scanned.
We're producing water. Let it play. All right, let's fill out our scan queues. We're gonna have lots of spaces available. You can kind of avoid anything that has like lots of mountains. Like all these sections have all mountains, and you're probably not going to find anything there anyway.
Research complete.
So once we get some of this area flattened out
Anomaly analyzed.
we'll put down the other drone hub, because that one needs to be close enough to build the dome that we want to build there. Slow down a little bit. Just dismiss that. Dismiss that. Okay, so we autonomous sensors. So this is the sensor towers. Now they're like the drones now, so they won't need power. But we have a prefab one, so let's go ahead and set that up. So let's build the one that we have as a prefab. Sensor towers are in this first one, the infrastructure. There's prefab 1, and it doesn't need power now, so we can kind of put it anywhere. I'm just going to kind of choose sort of randomly. I'm going to put it just sort of here. And speed it up so the drones build it. So there's our sensor tower spinning and sensoring. Or sensing. Again, dismiss those. The next one we'll do is clear these kind of rocks right here, I think.
Sector scanned.
So let's clear. Let's start here, clear out those rocks, and we're going to take a little bit of this little section here, because we're going to want to put the dome here. Let's kind of get an idea of where we're going to do the dome. So we have a dome prefab, a basic dome. And we want to put it so that that research node is inside the hex. So it's outside right now. Once it's in, you see that little message in the window. It says research site. All research will be boosted by 20%. So that's nice. And then this rare metals one, we want close enough to the dome to build a mine to extract it. It can be like a little bit outside and it's still close enough to the dome, but you wouldn't want it more than like 2 or 3 hexes outside that outline area. So the dome will probably go somewhere around here. So maybe we can build our second drone hub here. Let's put you... I usually like a little bit of crossover area in what's covered. But we need to make sure the place where we actually want to put the dome is free. So it's going to go here, but we're going to have to wait for this landscaping to happen to place it anyway. So up the time. Let's dismiss those. See, we've done all this stuff and we haven't even gotten a dome in our first colonists up yet.
Sector scanned. Research
Probably where we'll
complete.
stop the first stream here is once we get a dome up. Alright, and now we've researched the apartments, so that's good. There's one that would let you bring more colonists on the rocket. If we can possibly get that, that would be good, because the first group of colonists you can bring, it's normally 12, and that would automatically give us more. But I don't see that available yet. So, we'll just kind of randomly take... this would let us build more drones. That would be fairly good to get. So, let's add that.
Sector scanned.
Oh, looks like our... this is something that happens in this game. Our Explorer did the scan the anomaly, and we haven't sent it on its new one yet. I forget that all the time. A little concrete coming up. Looks like I'll definitely be doing some editing to get rid of these little dead spots.
Sector scanned. Research complete.
I'm just going to leave it playing. Alright, and we're going to have more colonists, so that's good. Let's go with large Arctic.
Anomaly analyzed.
Let's jump on assigning the next one faster this time. Okay. Alright, so let's see if we just got that.
There's
tech I
more
just
to the
mentioned.
barren environs of the Red Planet.
Is it Earth-Mars Initiative? Let's see here. No. Alright, so we didn't get that one, but we did get this thing that would boost research, so we should probably put that in at the top. So we need to get rid of one of these. Let's get rid of the mega storage, and then we're going to queue that in on top, because that's going to immediately improve research.
Sector scanned.
At some point we'll be done scanning and we won't have these annoying messages. Alright, let's add to our queue. Definitely seeing a bigger area of the map. So we can also start thinking about where we want the next dome. Normally you probably want to have a few domes near each other to connect with passages, because that's better. But sometimes you'll see something far away and you'll just build a dome kind of completely separate. It means you have to have another power grid and stuff like that.
Anomaly analyzed.
Alright, another anomaly analyzed. Let's put the next one. this will still research. Let's go with that. Still okay, speed up again. New text, let's see if we got
There's more to the barren environs of the red planet than meets the eye.
Topology AI. What's that? I don't remember what that is. Ah, that's that one. Drones work faster on landscaping projects. That would be nice to have right now, since it's taken forever to do this landscaping. Alright, so now we've got a flat area. Let's do the drone hub, and we're going to do it right. It's okay that it says it's too far. We're going to have to bring the commander over anyway. So I want to think a little bit about where the second dome might be. So if we do one here, the next kind of direction we probably want to go is actually towards this metal deposit. Although that reminds me that we can actually set up that automatic thing to start harvesting that now. I mean, there's plenty of metal around, just lying around nearby. Or maybe it's time to decide if that's really where we want to put the first dome or not. Let's see, is there a better place now that we've seen more? I'm gonna say... well, here. But that's basically the same thing, because it's rare metals and research. No, let's stick to our guns, so we're gonna do it here. So let's build you... I usually like maybe about 3 hexes worth of overlap. And here's why. So we're going to place that there. Now we need to send the commander over to build it. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to put another universal depot in this little crossover area. And the reason for that is so that the drones in both can reach it. Because since we're going to start building over there, we need to move some resources over there. So this will let us do that a little better. So let's get up that crossover again. And it disappears, so you have to have at least an idea. So it's about there. Right, and let's bring up Universal Depot and spin it so it's the right direction. Let's check, make sure that's going to work. And that's in the crossover. And now the other thing you can do is you can turn off certain resources. We don't really want everything there. We want kind of the basic ones. So for now, I don't think we need the food, rare metals, fuel, or seeds. And then this is the desired amount. So the drones are going to try to put at least 3 of all of these things into that depot. And you can see one's flying over here now to do that. And since we're probably going to need more concrete over there than 3, let's build a concrete depot also in that crossover area. And we're going to actually say something like 50 of that.
Research complete.
Alright, so we got the extra research for that. Dismiss. Okay, so now we've got the drones here. It's in this crossover area. We've got a way for resources to get there. Before I forget, let's build this automatic metal thing, because I've never even seen what that does. Is it the normal? Here it is. Automatic metal extractor. Uses 10 power. 20 and 5 machines. Yes, we have what's needed to build that. So let's build one of those. Okay, and let's make it get some power. And since we know that's going to start producing metal, let's put down 2 metal depots. And dumping site for the waste rock it's going to be producing. Not right next to it, but one away. Okay. And then let's plop down what's going to be our first dome here. Get started on that, and then we'll probably end the first stream. So here's our basic dome. So we want the research node within it, and we want it near the rare metals. So we're just going to go right here and plop. And now we're going to start building that. It's going to need life support.
Anomaly
so let's also get
analyzed.
started on building that. So first we're going to do a little section of pipe. And you'll see the 3 nodes on the dome for pipe connections. And let's just pick this one, and we're going to build just like a little 4
Sector
X long
scanned.
section of
Research
pipe.
complete.
And then we need water, so that's going to be one of the moisture vaporators. We're just going to tuck it in right here. Next to that, we're going to do a water tower to collect any extra water that's being produced. And, just tuck it in there right next to it. We need oxygen, that's the Moxie. We're going to tuck that here. And then we need an oxygen tank to hold any extra oxygen being produced. Put that there. It also needs power, so we're going to do, it's our last Stirling generator. Nope, that's the moisture vaporator. I thought we had we had like 6 of those. Okay, so that's good. And we'll just tuck this here. You would think you don't want power near water and oxygen, but it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to build a battery or power accumulator, so that's going to store extra power. We did put one over here, so let's do that real quick too. Because this thing's producing power, and we're not saving any. We should be doing that. Alright, so all of this stuff all together, let's open up the drone hub here, or the Stirling generator. This is the max power. So this should all be self-sufficient. It will be powered, it will have water, it will have oxygen. This says it doesn't have power. Because we didn't build power cable. Nice. That's okay.
Milestone achieved.
All right, we got our first milestone. Constructed a dome. Woohoo! And researched. Do we add now? Let's add. I need to start producing food soon, so things that improve food would help. Let's go ahead and we're going to have colonists here soon, so let's do we have, that's it, scientists and bond, and that's what we're going to be producing in this dome, right? Because we're near the research and we need food for sure to start. So let's research that, and then this, which would give us different crops.
Sector scanned.
Alright, so as soon as this builds, we now have, I'm going to pause it, so we have our initial base, right? Producing resources, we got our first dome. We're ready to start building buildings in there, and we're about ready to bring the first colonists. So we're going to stop right there and pick that up on a next video. So the next video we'll get the colonists here. We'll start thinking about a second dome, and we'll get through what's known as the founder stage. Basically, the first group of colonists you bring, you're kind of stuck with them for a while. You sort of have to prove that you manage the base well, and they all live, and you know, once you get through a certain period of time, then you can start bringing more colonists. The other thing that will kick it off is if you have a baby born. So you have Martian born. So that would also end founder stage, basically. So there you have it. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to doing another one of these.